Crew SC Match Day. Every match, 30 minutes before the kick. Delivering everything fans need to know. With live reports, unmatched analysis, club news, and more. After the game, stay here for Crew SC Post-Match. From the biggest moments to the road ahead, Crew SC Match Day and Crew SC Post-Match. Only on Spectrum Sports.
Welcome back to Friday Night Huddle as Week 9 in high school football is approaching the fourth quarter in most of the games, along with Dan Lobby from cleveland.com, Nate Cline from cleveland.com. I'm Dave Bacon, and guys, that touchdown by Kirtland, huge, because, again, it puts the pressure right back on Cuyahoga Heights, and if they don't score, it allows them to eat some more clock up, and that one's getting late in the third.
Yeah, you just want to keep answering and keep answering.
Yep.
And, Cuyahoga Heights, Kirtland knows what they're going to do every time they get the ball. They know exactly what they're going to do. And when they have the lead, it's even easier. And so now Cuyahoga Heights, it'll be interesting to see kind of how they attack Kirtland. That's a game, it's a little bit like the Bedford-Lorain game. It's obviously not as high scoring, but it is just, you got the ball, you're going to score. Okay, we've got the ball, we're going to score. It's just a little slower pace than what those other two teams are playing.
Yeah, Cuyahoga Heights has the ability to be able to run the football, but Ryan Polk at quarterback, he has 788 yards coming in passing this week. Coming into Week 9 with that many passing yards. So he has the ability to be able to help Cuyahoga Heights try to put up some points in a hurry. But as Dave pointed out, we're getting to the fourth quarter. Clock is ticking, and they need to be able to find answers soon.
Well, another game that is going back and forth and is really interesting is that Perry game against Canton McKinley. That one's almost in the fourth quarter, and Perry is down 6, and they're in the red zone. So the Perry Panthers doing a nice job of answering and really hanging around trying to get the lead. Yeah,
and they've got the ball at the 1 yard line. They're going to let it go to the fourth quarter here. Just a great job by them because it got out to McKinley, got off to a good start, but Perry stuck with it, held them to a field goal on a possession, forced some turnovers, and McKinley has made some mistakes, has had some costly penalties that have stopped some drives, and Perry is just hanging around. When you get to the fourth quarter at the 1 yard line with a chance to take the lead, you got a real shot to win that game and pull the upset, and this is a must-win for Perry.
And we can see why Perry has been able to hang in some of these games for so long, and that's because of their running back, Curtis, who had 4 TDs last week. So McKinley's coaching staff should have been able to see this tape and just say, we need to be able to shut this kid down in Week 9 so we can get a federal league title. But Curtis is a really big piece to this, and obviously, if they're just a few bit plays away and they want to sting with their wing T offense, he's a big piece of that puzzle there. So
that's what makes Perry so hard, though. You know what you have to do.
Yep.
You know you got to stop. It's actually doing it against that wing T.
Back and forth games all over the area, and one of them is Menor and Euclid. And the Euclid Panthers, Aubrey Shabazz, the backup quarterback, has found a pretty good target in Drayvon Lindsay. Take a look at Lindsay. Oh, a little stiff arm, and then hops into the end zone for the touchdown. But the Menor Cardinals answer quickly as Chris Edmonds gets it and gets into the end zone. Chris Edmond with the touchdown. So Euclid now down 36-35 to the Menor Cardinals on that Chris Edmond touchdown run.
Well, first of all, I'm going to joke with Matt later on because I know he also fell for that offensive play as well. He was following Tatis for a second, then he caught up to Edmond there with the running play. But yeah, Menor, that's the way they're going to do it. They're going to have to kind of play some deceiving here with this Euclid defense to see if they can get to win tonight. So far, they're up ahead by 1 right now. We'll see what Euclid does to answer after that. So
Edmond has been really good for Menor. He's kind of brought that rushing attack to that offense, and that's when Menor's offense has always been at their best, when they've had a guy that they can pair with that passing attack and that spread attack to run the football, and Edmond has been able to do that. But Euclid, look, they were in a game like this a few weeks ago, with Solon. Solon came back and had to go back and forth after that. So this isn't some place where Euclid and Aubrey Shabazz have not been. They know how to handle and win games like this.
And that was one of my concerns about the Panthers coming in, because they allowed so many points last week to Brunswick. I said, is the defense going to be able to put the brakes on and say, hey, look, you're not going to do this tonight, especially against the Mentor Cardinals, who can put up quite a bit of offense. Right now, this is getting down to the stretch. Mentor's been in these tight games as well. So we're just going to kind of just see who makes the play, as you were talking about earlier about some other teams.
There's a play by Jaron Curtis into the end zone to tie it early in the fourth quarter, point after coming. So Perry can take the lead if they get the point after conversion. The concerning part is he cramping up. Well, he's been running all over the field.
I
so
don't blame him.
Well, Curtis was limping like that, maybe back in the first half, after a couple plays. So, I'm just wondering, obviously you say cramps, I'm just hoping that's just the only thing. So,
I say that because he kind of ran to the sideline and grabbed water to kind of start hydrating.
So you see a penalty marker down. Now the question is if this personal foul on McKinley. Now the question is, can you take that and move it? Oh, so it's offsetting. You have an unsportsmanlike conduct and a personal foul. So you have to make the point after, and Perry's kicker has made the two that they've had so far. So that's a good thing.
And the personal fouls, we've kind of been keeping our eyes on this game throughout the night, and there's been a little back and forth. There's been some shoving, and there was a play on the sideline when there was a little bit of a late hit.
Caden Basham is the kicker, snap and setter good, and Basham drills it without. He's kicking it over the band. That landed in the trailer behind the tubas.
He's trying to land it in one of the tubas, I think. But
if he gets more points, maybe it's not a bad idea. But we've seen point afters kind of play into some of the things going on tonight. So the Perry Panthers, early fourth quarter, had the lead, and they win that, they'll get enough second-level points with an 8-win team. They'll be firmly in.
And we're going to be really busy tonight as these games get down to the stretch, because they could come out down to the final plays. So, but what's so interesting about this McKinley and Massillon Perry game, even though McKinley is ranked really high in the state rankings and also in among other polls in the state, this game was supposed to be in favor of McKinley winning by at least 11 points in this game. So obviously Perry is trying to say, look, hey, don't read the projections, because we're going to see what happens in week 9, how we handle this. So.
Euclid and Mentor, those Cardinals, that offense, we call it quick strike, and we call it quick strike for a reason. They're back at it as Tatarunas, drops it into Logan Shea's arms for the touchdown. And Logan Shea is a guy that has started forever. He was a starting cornerback as a 9th grader. They need him on offense, and you see why. He grabs that, and now it's 43-35. But remember, Euclid has some guys that can score in a hurry as well, so this might be the first one to 60. As Euclid put up 78 last week, so.
Yeah, I wonder what Mentor fans think when they go to a game and it lasts 2 hours, 2.5 hours. What just happened? I can't imagine they've ever watched a game with their team that has lasted less than 3 hours. They are always long. They're always fun to watch, but that one's going to be a shootout from here on out. And Tatarunas has kind of relied on Logan Shea this season. He's been one of his go-to weapons, and those two guys have played a lot of football together.
And the one thing that's not is going to help Euclid is that they're on the road, and Mentor is saying, look, if we have an opportunity to win this title at home in front of our fans, we're going to do it. And so right now Euclid has got to be able to kind of drain out the audience and try to win this game out for the Panthers Nation.
Well, another game that we are tracking is the Bedford and Lorain game. Bryant Kizer is at that game and joins us on the phone. Bryant, what's going on with the Titans and the Bearcats?
Well, Wilkins has got his 5th touchdown run of the game. I think it's a little 15 yards out, and the Bedford leads 46-41, and they are going for 2. Quarterback rolls, fires, end zone, and 2-point conversion. Now they lead 48-41. About 5 minutes to go in the third quarter. So I guess the first one to 40 is gone. So maybe the first one to 60.
I'd stay with 60 because I don't think they're anywhere near done yet. So
Yeah.
what's been the difference with Bedford? They fell behind early. What have you noticed that has enabled them to not only get back into this but take the lead?
Well, the way the people tackle it, they're gonna have a clinic at the end of this game. Because nobody's tackling, man. They run through our tackles. I'm like, up and down the field. Now Lorain will get the kickoff. You know, they probably get a score. So we're gonna have a heck of a battle. Hey, it's a battle now.
What has
90
Lorain
points.
been able to do offensively, Bryant?
They're able to run the ball, and because Dower, he has 4 touchdowns. So it's a Wilkins and Dower show. Dower just had Wilkins with his 5th touchdown run. Now Dower gets the ball back. So it's a fun game to be at.
All right, Bryant Kizer, we will obviously check back in with you. That one's probably not near the fourth quarter yet. They've put up a lot of points that were late getting to half. The question is, did you start Wilkins in your high school fantasy football team?
And did you start
Dower?
Dower? Did you start basically everybody
Drayvon
on those
Lindsay.
teams? Yeah, you name it.
No, I mean, these guys are really showing up in week 9. I mean, you can obviously tell that we're getting close to the playoffs now. I mean, these guys are, putting up a lot of touchdowns, putting up a lot of yards on the ground. But no, I mean, this is playoff atmosphere. I mean, this is what we're seeing. But Bedford, man, I mean, I know we're going to be talking about that until, we finish up for the night. But to be able to come back down, I believe we were talking about 20-8, 28-8, heck of a job by the Bearcats. And it all starts with just limiting those middle mistakes.
And we've talked a little bit about Kenneth Wilkins' 5 touchdowns, and Bryant said this is the last one, and there he is. Oh, breaks 1 tackle. That's 2. And then now he's just going to cut it outside. Nice block downfield to spring him into the end zone. And pretty good touchdown run by Wilkins, his 5th. And as Bryant mentioned, the 2-point conversion was good, so it is a 48-41 lead for Bedford. And I'm telling you, Bryant Kizer hates defense. He just hates it.
We're going to have to do our 2 top 15s tonight. We're going to do top 15 plays and then top 15 plays from that game alone. I mean, we've seen just a bunch of highlights, and there was another one. He mentioned the tackling. Well, there was an example. I don't know if the defender was trying to strip the ball there.
To rip the ball. That's what it looked like.
Wilkins has been in the weight room apparently because he held on to the football, cut back, and got into the end zone.
Both teams are 7-1. I'm just, we were talking about just this playoff situation right now, and you're just getting hot right now. And it looks like right now, after those couple turnovers early in the game, Bedford is getting off to Bedford football again. So just hats off to the Bearcats for being able to take advantage right now of this. And nothing probably pleased more as a running back than when you could shed defenders as well. We should probably have a count of how many people touched him before he even scored. So.
Well, the Perry Panthers held, and they get the ball back. So now they're going to start eating the clock.
And McKinley's been making mistakes. A lot of, like I said, penalties, turnovers, drop passes. Just a lot of little mental mistakes McKinley has made. Now they're set. They're in the playoffs. Obviously, they'd like to have a home game, which would maybe be in jeopardy if they lost this game. Perry is fighting for their playoff lives, trying to get a spot clinched in these final 2 weeks. But if you're McKinley, the last thing you want is 2 weeks before the playoffs start, making a bunch of mental errors, doing things that you just cannot do once you get into November.
And Sharon Curtis just ripped off a huge run again. So Perry, who really needs that, that really will put them, if Perry can find a way to hang on and beat McKinley, that it doesn't lock up a playoff spot, but it comes pretty darn close. It ends most of the question of which 8 are going to be in, and with what they will get second level points, barring something unforeseen, Solon's probably that 9th team.
Yeah, and I mean Region 1 has shaken out so far where you might get 1 2-loss team in Jackson. After that, if you have 3 losses, you're out. It's going to be all unbeatens and one-loss teams and maybe 1-2-loss team. That has been a very unforgiving region for teams that have lost multiple games.
And Perry, on the strength of a long Jaron Curtis run, is now inside the 5-yard line. Now, the question is, you know, are you given? You'd prefer a long time-consuming drive because McKinley has the ability to strike quickly. It's 1st and goal, and Perry trying to push this lead to.
Well, you can see Curtis is limping back there.
He's limping. He had a huge run, and he's going to get into the end zone without any problem. Jaron Curtis into the end zone, and he's cramping is what it is.
Cramping up because he's been running after all of these touchdowns.
He had about a 60-yard run that set that up. So now 27-20, point after coming to make it an 8-point lead. Now the challenge here is McKinley has the ability to strike quickly, and if they keep it at 8, you know, it's still a one-possession game. And if you're McKinley, that's what you're hanging your hat on. McKinley really hasn't been pushed a lot this year. You know, they're non-conference. You know, they beat up Hudson pretty severely. They haven't really had that many close games where teams have pushed them.
And they've had to face, you know, they had a lead in this game.
Right.
They've had a 2-score lead a few times in this game, and now they've completely given it up. Perry trying to take an 8-point lead here. This is a good test for them. They got Massillon next week, and then into the postseason. So, again, they're going to sit down. Coach Reardon is going to sit down. He's going to watch this game, and he's going to point out, you guys made a bunch of mistakes. We can clean it up. This game turns out differently. And again, this game isn't over yet either. You know, it's only a 1-score game. You mentioned McKinley can strike quickly. But those mental errors are going to be something that I think Coach Reardon and his staff are going to point at and say, you've got to get these cleaned up before we go to Massillon and before we go into the playoffs.
You know, and even though, you know, McKinley is sitting at 8-0 and has not lost a game this season, you know, they're going to, I'm sure they're, you know, and there's only 10 minutes left, you know, to see what the outcome of this is going to be. If McKinley does lose this game, you know, they're going to have quite a bit to talk about and just see what did we do in this game that we didn't, you know, what did we do in previous games and not do in this game. So the Bulldogs, you know, right now they still got 10 minutes left to play. You kind of got a limping running back right now. Can you probably take advantage of that? Who knows? But yeah, the Bulldogs, I mean, if they want to win this Federal League title, you know, they need to be able to stop Perry.
Well, let's check in. Kirtland and Cuyahoga Heights, and Kirtland has opened up a 2-score lead as they lead 35-20. And Hornets have the ball just inside the 20-yard line. And as we say that, they call timeout. So that one has expanded from a 1-score to a 2-score game, and that's not where you want to be with the Kirtland Hornets, because you're going to get a heavy dose of Dylan Folco, the quarterback, running the ball, and Torek running the football, and the clock's going to go bye-bye real quick if you're Cuyahoga Heights.
And it's tough to get, like, you don't get turnovers off Kirtland because they don't throw the ball. You know, you might get a fumble here and there, but they're so good possessing the football. They don't put the ball in the air very often, so you don't have a chance to get interceptions, pick sixes, things like that. So if you're Cuyahoga Heights, you've got to somehow get off the field here. You can't go down 3 scores.
Well, let's check in with the Bedford and Lorain game, as Bedford leading 48-41, and Lorain running the football. And a nice job to pick up about 6 yards by Dakota Mincy. Mincy had that pick 6 earlier in the game, and you see he picks up the first down. So the ball just outside the red zone at the 22-yard line. And power I formation, and now they will split Davian Dower out, and he lines up more as a tight end. And the fullback is Cairo Smith, and Cairo Smith gets the handoff. Breaking tackles, Cairo Smith running over people. And they're going to mark him down at the 1. Smith wanted the touchdown.
We
got to be careful with that.
We saw Smith stuff a run earlier.
Yeah, he did.
On defense. And, man, he was just bowling over guys there. I know he wants the ball again right now.
And you know Bedford's defense doesn't want to see 9 running over people, because perfect complement to Mincy and Dalen Dowler, rather. Sturgill keeps it, and he gets into the end zone. So a point after away from tying that one up.
On a 1-yard run.
So
and it is now
Sturgill a little hobbled there. So that's a concern if you are the Lorain Titans, as your talented quarterback, a little gingerly jogging off with that ankle, but point after away from tying that up at 48. First one to 60.
It was interesting. It looked like Lorain was almost trying to slow the pace down a little bit on that drive, and then they get the big run out of their run stuffer, fullback, name the position, and then they score quickly, chance to tie the game up.
And the way this game started with Bedford and Lorain, can you imagine us actually talking about Lorain having to try to keep the Bedford offense off the field? And that's exactly, it sounds, looked like in those last few plays, that's what it looks like they were trying to do with the Bearcats offense. So, if that's what they're going to start doing, I guess we're going to see what happens. But Bedford, they're going to have to keep putting their foot on the gas in this game. So,
point after was good, so that game is tied at 48. They're putting up some points.
I believe it was still the third quarter.
It was. Again, that was late. That was substantially later than all the other games getting to halftime. Just because of all the scoring that was going on. So both teams really need that, and Division I, Region 2, Lorain hanging out in that bottom 4. They're not guaranteed of a playoff spot. Bedford in a little bit better shape. They were in the top 4 in Division II, Region 5, but by no means a lock, and they obviously want a home playoff game. You don't want to head down the road, and you don't want to be number 8 in Division II, Region 5, because that means you're looking at Hoban in Week 1. That will be no fun.
Well, yeah, the update we got from Hoban earlier from Mike Peticca, no yards in the first half. Yeah. So no yards allowed in the first half. So
5 sacks, no yards allowed, 2 positive plays over 6 yards.
Yeah, you don't want to face that defense. You don't want to face that offensive line either, but you definitely don't want to face that defense.
Yeah, and the Knights are, similar to Perry, during that realignment, they also moved up a division after winning back-to-back state titles in Division III. So just to be able to see Hoban in the position that they're in right now and commanding that region, they're clearly, like right now, a favorite, maybe even win another state title, but in a different division this year. So,
it's interesting. It's the first year of the competitive balance piece, and that's why so many teams were juggled around. And I think what happened to Perry is there were a number of teams that were bumped down out of Division I as some of the teams moved up, and that Perry kind of got caught in collateral and got moved up because of how many of the teams were actually shuffled in and out of Division I and II.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see kind of how that plays out too. I think it makes Division I really challenging because teams get bumped up, and some of the smaller public schools in Division I maybe suffer a little bit as teams get bumped up. But it'll be interesting to see how all that plays out over the years.
Yeah, and the Perry Panthers are I'm impressed. I thought they'd hang with them. I didn't think it would be nearly as close as it is, to be perfectly honest. So. That's a heck of a job by Keith Wakefield and Perry to be in the situation they're at. That's by no means a done deal, and they haven't closed it out yet, but they're playing well.
Yeah, you fought back and you gave yourself a chance. McKinley driving now, trailing by 8. So maybe they get it together a little bit, and this may end up being good for McKinley. Win or lose. This could be a good thing for them because they've sort of been rolling along. You mentioned they haven't had a lot of close games. It's an opportunity to learn a little bit about yourself. You have to play Massillon. It's a home game for them, but that's a rivalry game, and then you go to the playoffs. This is a chance to maybe.
So Curtis throws, and it's complete inside the 10-yard line. A good job of spotting Lonnie Richardson-Parr. So that's a heck of a throw by Elijah Curtis. Curtis just a junior, and look at that, goes to the secondary guy, drops it right in there. So 8 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter, you see. And it's inside the 10, so 1st and goal, trying to get into the end zone, and the 2-point conversion would tie it up, and there's Keyshawn Watson. So it'll be 2nd and goal from the 6. you know, if you're Perry, you just bleed the clock. You're now, I mean, really, it's too early to start thinking that way, but you want McKinley to be forced to take as much time as they can if they're going to score.
Yeah, it's 1st and goal here. You're obviously trying to hold them to a field goal, but if they are going to get a touchdown, you'd like it to take 3 or 4 plays.
Keep fighting. A little bit of a high snap, Watson, and he is swallowed up and brought down. A good job by the nose tackle, Kevin Miller, to grab him and bring him down. Looked like he had some space, but big number 65 plays off his block, and Kevin Miller just grabs him and brings him down. Nice job.
Yeah, and the more plays you make them run, the more opportunities there are for maybe a high snap like that. A nice job by Curtis to go up and get that ball.
So Curtis, and nothing doing. Again, great defense by the Perry Panthers as Luke Millen, one of the men there, and also Sir Elliott, the linebacker. Love the name, Sir Elliott, the outside linebacker, 44.
Yeah, they
turned it back in.
Yeah, I mean, they just went on block. I mean, they were sitting right there in the backfield just waiting for them to make a decision who they want to get the ball to, and then they'll make that change there.
3rd and goal, and you see what this is doing is it's forcing, and we get a whistle. And what it's doing is it's eating into potential time that McKinley could have.
Yeah.
And it's going to cost him 5 more. So a false start. And again, Dan, you mentioned you're seeing some mistakes and some miscues from McKinley that you don't want to see with the playoffs 2 weeks away.
Yeah, this is
concerning.
This is stuff you see in week 1, week 2. You don't want to see these mistakes in week 9. And now, now you're at 3rd and goal, but you're all the way back at the 10-yard line all of a sudden.
And, a field goal, I'm not sure you want to do that. So Curtis rolls out, and he gets the corner, and he's pushed out of bounds. 4th and goal and decision time. 6:19 remaining, and the danger is if you kick the field goal, you may not get the ball back.
Yeah, this is an interesting decision for the Bulldogs. They've got to figure out, do they think their defense can get a stop? How much do you trust your defense here?
Looks like the offense is staying on the field. So, again, if you miss it, it's not like it's game over. But here it is, 4th and goal. Curtis throws, incomplete. Were you going to get a flag?
Looked like he got there a little early.
McKinley fans want a flag. Don't think you're going to get it. I thought he got there a tad early, too, as that was Robbie Kirshner. And Prayer Wise, the intended receiver. Looked like he might have got there a little bit quick, but that's all right. That's fine. Now, 6:15 remaining, and 1 timeout is all McKinley has left. So that 1 timeout factors into it as well.
Yeah, so now Perry's going to be able to come out, and this is what Perry does, right? Run the football, run the clock. That penalty, again, the penalty just kills you. You're inside the 5-yard line, and then you get a pre-snap penalty. And those things are just killer.
Well, and the other thing, it completely changes, your thinking and your playbook. I mean, that's not like, oh, we're just back 5 yards. It's 4th and 3, and now it's 4th and 8, or 4th and 4 and 4th and 9. But it completely changes the dynamic of what you can do offensively.
Yeah, and we saw that. I mean, they had to throw the ball.
Yeah, and as much as we talked about the McKinley defense in the first 8 weeks of the season, tonight is going to be a night that they're going to have to show up in this drive here that Perry's going to put together and see if they can try to get the ball back or maybe even try to put some points on the board for the Bulldogs.
Let's check back in with Euclid and Mentor, and this one another wild one, and Elijah McDougall for Mentor dives into the end zone, and the Cardinals now leading 50-43.
So what we're seeing is Euclid is scoring, and then Menor is scoring.
And then Euclid is scoring, and then Menor is scoring. And then Euclid is scoring. And so that one, I got a feeling they're not done scoring there either yet.
Yeah, we might be talking about those games at 1 in the morning still. That one and the Lorain-Bedford game.
Yeah, and just we were talking about McKinley and Perry, now Menor and Euclid. I mean, these are all the same teams that are in the same region right now. So there's going to be a lot of questions on just how are these games going to finish out and where is everyone going to be able to finish, getting ready to go into week 10 and then moving ahead to the postseason. Who's going to be able to get a spot in? So, but right now, a lot of points are being put up between Euclid and Menor right now. We're going to see who makes a stop here.
That Region 1 bracket is going to be nuts.
And you're going to want to avoid St. Ed's and St. Ignatius.
Yeah, we haven't even talked about them because they don't play tonight. But you got those two big dogs sitting up at the top.
All right, well, Amherst and Avon is another game we're tracking. Dan Gilles is at that game and joins us. Dan, what's the deal with the Comets and the Eagles?
Well, Avon has clinched at least a share of the SWC or Southwestern Conference Championship, second straight year. They won 35-7. Basically, it was 35-0 midway through the third quarter. Cue the running clock, and Amherst got a late touchdown with about 3 minutes to go on a fumble return for 55 yards by Greg Rhodes. Basically, to kind of salvage a little bit of something for the Comets, but other than that, it was all Avon from start to finish. They pretty much dominated this game. They made a statement.
Were they, as advertised, one of the top teams in the state, you think, in Division II?
Absolutely. They had like I said, they had a little bit of a scare last week in North Ridgeville, and they were gashed running the ball, or by the opposition running the ball, and they made a few adjustments this week in practice, and it showed. They really shut down Amherst's running game, took away their passing game. They basically offensively had a nice mix of the run and the pass. They like I said, they were pretty much head and shoulders above what Amherst was today, and I believe this kind of gets them back on track, gets them back to playing what they like to call Avon football. Now with they got Westlake next week. Obviously, that should be another one-sided affair. Set them up for the playoffs as a number 1 seed. I think they can go pretty far.
All right, we appreciate the update. Dan Gilles says Avon looking strong without question, and we've got a couple of interesting ones going on with Bedford and Lorain, and then Canton McKinley held Perry, got a big punt return, and Canton McKinley back at it with about 3.5 left. So Perry, and they also saved their timeout, did Canton McKinley. So, and we go to it, and they are inside and on a 3rd and 4, it's going to be 4th down as Watson stopped short of the first down. A nice job defensively stacking that up for Perry.
This is a game about stops. This is proving it tonight.
It's Vinny Scurry. Scurry plays off his blocker and shuts it down. So you see time remaining is just 2:40. Still 1 timeout for McKinley, 4th and 4. And they kind of dodged the bullet last time when they didn't convert on 4th down, did McKinley. Right now, not enough time really to do that again with the 1 timeout. They took about 3 minutes off the clock, did Perry, and they're going to be forced to use that last timeout.
Perry is actually the one calling it, I think.
I think you're right.
So that'll be good. That's good for McKinley. But they took a lot of time off the clock before that play. I think they're approaching this like we were just talking about. This is the possession where they've got to tie this game up. If they give the ball back to Perry, you're talking 1 first down wins the game, and maybe at this point, you might not even need that.
Yeah, you still do have the timeout, so you probably need.
Yeah, if you hang on to that timeout, it'll help you.
Again, it all depends on how quickly the ball gets spotted and those kind of things. But Perry Panthers, that is the surprise so far if they can hang on and pull that one out.
Yeah, and last week the upset game that we were talking about was the Ignatius and Moeller game, and we're kind of wondering about this one. is this going to be the upset game for the night? And obviously, everyone's playing for a little bit of something, whether it's a conference or a league title or some sort of playoff position. So, Perry's just showing it off tonight. So,
yeah, and packed house at Perry again, trying to see if the Panthers can come up with that stand, the 4th down, and here we go to it as it's 4th and 4. Ball at the 16, and there's the quick pass, and it's off the mark. Incomplete. Man was open, prayer-wise was open, and Curtis just missed him.
Seems like
so it goes over on downs, 2:19, and the Perry faithful, the pink out for breast cancer awareness, feeling pretty good right now.
Yeah, tough play, and we're actually getting a look at it here. It just looks like the two weren't on the same page.
Yeah,
the timing was just off, and so now you got the timeout.
He was open and had the cushion to get the first down.
It was there, and that's frustrating.
He's got to put that. That's got to be on the numbers. That should be a first down.
Yeah, and Curtis, looked like he did. He really didn't need to look like he didn't need to rush that pass. But I guess just obviously with the communication that they have, I felt like I guess he thought he had to release it as soon as he could. But it looked like he wasn't too much of a rush. It looked like Perry was trying to just seeing what was going to happen with the play. So
yeah, so got to use your timeout, first down, get a stop, get the ball back. You're not going to have a ton of time left.
Nope.
Especially if Perry gets a good punt off.
Now, the one thing is Keyshawn Watson had a great punt return. He almost broke. He was a tackle away from getting that into the end zone as far as the punt return goes. So, but yeah, he still hasn't used the timeout on first down, so it's going to be interesting to see how they do it.
And, with Perry, they're going to run the ball. They're going to make him use that timeout eventually. I'd imagine they're going to use it after probably 3rd down. But this thing's going to be close to a minute before it gets snapped on 3rd down. And that, oh boy, we're watching the game here as we're talking about it. The ball got fumbled out of bounds. It's going to stay with Perry, and he might have reached the first down before the fumble. And
it's Jaron Curtis, the guy who's been so good and so tough running the football for him. And the Kirtland and Cuyahoga Heights game. Cuyahoga Heights is trying to, and they throw into the corner of the end zone, touchdown, and it's Dylan Drummond who goes up and grabs it. What a grab by Drummond! I was trying to make sure it was Dylan. The 6', 170-pound wide receiver goes up and grabs Ryan Polk's
still plenty of time in the game here.
So he makes that great catch. Now he's got to go kick the extra
third quarter.
point.
It's actually in the 4th quarter.
Oh, okay.
So trying to cut this would still be an 8-point game if he converts this. It'd be a touchdown, 2-point conversion away from tying it up, and he does make it. So it is a 1-possession game there, and that is in the 4th quarter. So. That's that one tightens up a little bit.
Yeah, keeping it close. And when you have a guy like that, Division I recruit, makes a really nice catch on the sideline. That's what you expect out of a guy like that. And Cuyahoga Heights hanging around.
Yeah, he's had a touchdown catch earlier in the game on a really nice pattern where they kind of isolated him. That's what they're doing. Okay, again, I've got a 6'2" guy that's really athletic. I think he's more athletic than anybody. Let's head back to the phones. Mike Peticca is covering the Hoban NDCL game. And, Mike, how did the Knights finish this one off?
Hoban wins 42. They held the Lions offense to 5 total yards. Actually, the NDCL defense didn't play too bad, but Hoban got 3 of its touchdowns on 1 total yard of offense, thanks to a punt return, a fumble return, and a block punt. But Hoban showed a lot on offense. Quarterback Shane Ham was able to get it done with the passing game when needed. Connected 5 times with for 107 yards, and Tyrus Dickerson had about 110 yards rushing. So Hoban 2-time defending state champion in Division III. Bryan to make a run in Division II this year.
Mike, were they as impressive as the numbers bear out? Is this the football team that you saw tonight? You think they're poised to make a pretty big run?
Yes. Very good in the game. Their athleticism across the board, both sides of the football, is really impressive. They have a free safety, Matthew Salopek, who moved up to outside linebacker for this game. Theodore Hatton's off the back. Salopek gets 5 of their 8 quarterback sacks. Notre Dame's a good team. You could see that, but this was just an overwhelming by Hoban.
Mike Peticca, we appreciate the coverage of Hoban improving to 8-1 as they beat NDCL 42-0, and it has gone final. The Perry Panthers pull off the upset and hand Canton McKinley their first loss of the season. So the Perry Panthers likely going to be part of that Division I, Region I playoff party, and heck of a win. That's a really good win for Perry.
Yeah, it's just they had to come from behind. It's just really impressive. And they do what they need to do on that final drive. They get the first down, and McKinley, they were hoping to get that ball spotted on that final play before the clock went under 25, but it didn't happen, and they had to watch time just sort of bleed away.
Another close game that's going on, Lorain and Bedford. Lorain down 6, but the Titans are on the move, and they are actually at the 15-yard line of Bedford. 1st and 10, 54-48, so it is not the first one to 50, as down 6, and now you see clock running, and you can see offensive players are kind of gassed probably on both sides. I formation behind Sturgill, and they give it to Dalen Dower. Dower, little forearm, and brought down. Nice tackle, and it looks like the defender is shaken up as John Law went down, and that will stop the clock, and we're going to step aside there as they attend to the shaken up player. But Lorain inside the red zone will be second down from about the 12, 13-yard line.
Yeah, I mean, this game is living up to the hype of what it is, and just we took a quick look here. It looked like number 7 jumped up. He looked like he's okay, continue to play. But yeah, I mean, Bedford right now, they need to try to be able to make a stop here against the Titans.
And there's Dower again, and fights forward. Going to be a little bit short of that first down. Will be 3rd down and 2 or 3. Nice play on the inside defensively, is making sure that he did not get the first down. Was Brian Kirk from his defensive tackle position. Kind of hopped on there. They need to get to the 6, so it's going to be 3rd down and 4. And you're likely in 4-down territory, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I don't think you're kicking many field goals in this football game at this point. I think you're trying to cross that goal line every time you have the football.
Field goals they're allergic to field goals. Bryant Kizer doesn't like defense, and he hates field goals. So I formation behind Sturgill. And there's Cairo Curtis. Close. Smith, rather. Cairo Smith. Everybody's named Curtis tonight. 4th down, so he's a little short.
I mean, you can just see, like, guys are just slow to get up, and just, I mean, this game is wearing guys out.
Well, they've put over 100 points on the board. So it's a long yard, almost 2. Offense, in fact, stays on the field. So Smith is the fullback. And the deep back is Dalen Dower. He gets the pitch. Smith leading the way. Close to the first down. He got it as he gets inside of the 5 with that second effort. So nice fight by Dalen Dower. Picks up the first down. And Dalen Dower is just a sophomore, guys. So this is the lead horse back for the Titans as a 10th grader. And right now, Lorain trying to punch it in the end zone. and would be a point after away from taking a lead in this football game that has just been back and forth all game long. So a little bit of a different formation as they spread it out a little bit more, do the Titans. So now Smith gets the handoff, spins, and knocked down, but gets down to the 2.
That is a big dude to have to try and bring down. And you know, I mean, you can just tell he wants the football. He gets up, he's talking, he wants the football, he wants to hit somebody.
5'10", 220 is Cairo Smith. He gets it again, following the center right up the middle. He's going to be about a yard short, maybe a half a yard short. 3rd and goal. So Titans probably figuring we got 2 more chances to push this into the end zone.
Yeah, I mean, you got tired defenders.
And then we get a timeout. Just over 5 minutes remaining in this. So 2 down territory, likely. I'm guessing you're not going to put 3 on the board. You're going to – field goals don't add up when you've scored over 100 points in the game.
If you're the kicker, just have a seat. Hopefully you play another position. Hopefully you're not just the kicker.
We'll call you when we need a point after.
So we'll call you next Friday.
But, you know, both of these teams, it's kind of been punch, counter, punch, answer, punch, counter, punch, answer. So it's kind of what you get when you get to this level, and both teams have 1 loss on the year. So Lorain trying to find a way to put it in the end zone, get the point after, and take the lead with, you know, under 5 minutes remaining in the game.
Yeah, I mean, the theme of the night has just been playing chess match with each other. In this Lorain-Bedford game, I mean, they're obviously doing it in this game too. But, you know, assuming that Lorain go ahead and put some points on the board, now Bedford's got to think, okay, you know, can our quick strike offense try to get up the field and try to see if we can try to win this game?
So here we go. It's 3rd and goal from the 1. So Sturgill kind of looking over the defense. Dower is the deep back. Curtis leading the way. He stopped. A nice job. Good penetration. Smith leading the way, but it was Jalen Smith, number 5, who knifed into the backfield and made the tackle. So a nice job. They spot the ball back at the 1.
It's a little bit of a basketball time out there on that play. Maybe get the defense a breather, give them a couple minutes to catch their breath.
So it's 4th and goal from the 1, under 5 minutes remaining in this one. So Sturgill pitches it. Dower hit. Does he get in? Wilkins. There was a collision. And he.
Oh my goodness.
Wilkins.
Wilkins acting like he stopped him. I didn't see a signal.
It looks like they. I mean,
they said he stopped him.
Like they did.
Yeah.
Woo. Wilkins doing everything.
Top play, top play, top play.
So those are 2 big men looking at it. Here's the thing. I don't think the ball ever got in.
He stopped him.
I think he
did.
I
was looking to see where his feet were.
His feet were. He was running a little behind the ball. So
wow.
Let's see now. Now the Bearcats. They fumbled. Oh, he fumbled the snap.
Oh my goodness.
Let us wait to see.
Green jersey's coming up with it.
The center ended up rolling out with it.
Oh, second down.
Second down.
Ooh.
As it was
That could have been disastrous.
T1 Hill rolled out and grabbed it. But now it's 2nd down, ball at the 1.
Clock winding down to 4 minutes.
So there you go. I mean,
4 minutes remaining.
With that exchange.
So, you know, this is, wow. So, I formation behind him. Wilkins is the deep back, the man that just made that stop. He's going to get the handoff, and he's knocked down at about the 6.
Running backs there just meeting up right there.
So it's going to be 3rd down and 4. We're going to step aside from this one, and let's join Spencer Davies and he's going to join us on the phone. Spencer, what's going on at the Bay-Revere game?
Bay won 28-17, and it was actually a pretty hard-fought game there towards the end, but just too much trape soda for Revere to overcome.
As you look at it, how impressive was Bay? Tell me a little bit about their defense as well, Spencer.
Defense was fine. There was kind of a bit of bend, don't break feel to it. Revere was able to get some yardage off of them. Nate Klinowski had a couple solid gains once he started to find some room in the passing game and had some nice runs to the outside, just being some quarterback carries. And then obviously Matt Buser gave him a solid effort, 17 rushes and 80 yards for the Minutemen. But Bay, it seemed that it was just a bend, don't break type of thing.
Spencer Trey Pasoda, how impressive was he running the football tonight for the Rockets?
I think that's the thing that opened my eyes the most. This kid's tough to take down. I'll tell you what, it was kind of an old school type of feel to the way that he runs the ball. He's got enough speed, but man, is he powerful. And he was breaking tackles left and right tonight, and he sealed the game with a 52-yard carry midfield. So that really ended it for him.
All right, Spencer Davies, we appreciate it as he wraps up the Bay-Revere game, and Pasoda, one of the big backs, getting it done. And, the Bedford-Lorain game is also kind of winding down, and, Lorain trying to get the football back as they were inside of 4 minutes remaining in that. And, the Bearcats doing a nice job to continue to fight. And that play at the goal line, heck of a play defensively.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to talk about that between now and before we close tonight of just how big that play was for the Bedford Bearcats by Wilkins there, and who should be tonight be celebrating over 1,000 yards tonight. So, but Wilkins, man, what a great play right there at the end zone right there.
Yeah, has had some touchdown runs that we've seen as well. So a big night for Kenneth Wilkins, kind of finding a way to affect things on both sides of the ball, which huge for Sean Williams and the Bedford Bearcats.
And that looked like the perfect play call. You got a little pitch. You've been running up the middle. You get a pitch out. There's room to run. And sometimes when somebody makes a perfect play call, somebody's got to step up and make a big play. And that's what Wilkins has done. And that's what he's done for this team all season long, whether it's running the ball defensively. And he was huge on that play. And the other thing he did was he got them out from their own end zone, because they almost fumbled, they almost turned the ball over.
Yep.
And then they turn and hand it to Wilkins, and he gets them out of the shadow of their end zone, and now they have some room to work with.
And we talked about it, and fans have talked so much about this Bedford offense and how well they've done, but just to be able to hang their hat on that defensive stop tonight, man, that's going to speak a lot of volumes as the regular season wraps up here, and if they could possibly even win this Lake Erie title tonight.
All those points in the play we're going to talk about is a defensive play.
Absolutely.
Isn't that sometimes how it goes in these games? Yeah. Just that one defensive play is the one that stands out.
You don't have to make a ton of them. You have to make the one at the right time. And, right now, at least, with 3 minutes left in the game, Kenneth Wilkins made the play. We're going to step aside and take a quick timeout. It's Friday Night Huddle here on cleveland.com with Dan Lobby and Nate Cline. I'm Dave Bacon.
This city, this club, stands with you.
Danger from Mira!
What you live for lives here.
The volley, Kamara, yes!
Ohio's television home of Columbus Crew SC. Spectrum Sports. Exclusively on Spectrum.
This is it. Your big break. Your one shot. Your only chance. There are two outcomes. Make history or be history.
The home of high school sports. Spectrum Sports. Exclusively on Spectrum. Lives here. We are Spectrum Sports, exclusively on Spectrum. Every week, from the locker room to the pitch and everywhere in between, Access Crew SC is your ultimate inside look at the black and gold. Join Marissa Contepelli, Dwight Burgess, and Neil Sika for unmatched coverage, in-depth analysis, and exclusive talks with the players and coaches. This is your club. This is your Access. Access Crew SC, Wednesdays on Spectrum Sports.
The Ohio Lottery's Partners in Education program has been recognizing students and teachers who shine both in and out of the classroom since 2007. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com and click on Supporting Education. Students in kindergarten through 12th grade are eligible to be academic all-stars. K through 12 teachers can be honored as the Teacher of the Month. Every school that participates is eligible to be honored as the School of the Year. The Ohio Lottery's Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Wednesday nights, get ready for kickoff with Spectrum Sports. High School Blitz Preview. The can't miss show for all things high school football. We'll break down team news, the latest standings, and what to expect on the road to Canton. High School Blitz Preview. Wednesday nights at 7 on Spectrum Sports. Exclusively on Spectrum.
Have you ever lived for something? Have you ever dreamt of something? Something more? Something special? Something bigger than yourself? Well, have you? This is what you live for!
The home of high school sports. Spectrum Sports. Exclusively on Spectrum. Crew SC Match Day. Every match, 30 minutes before the kick. Delivering everything fans need to know. With live reports, unmatched analysis, club news, and more. After the game, stay here for Crew SC Post-Match. From the biggest moments to the road ahead, Crew SC Match Day and Crew SC Post-Match. Only on Spectrum Sports.
There were some crazy goings-on in Week 9 of high school football. That means there's a lot of plays we got to look at one more time. The top plays, the top 15 from Week 9 of high school football all across the Buckeye State. We begin number 15 Thursday night in the Dayton area. Carlisle's DJ Chambers outside, then down the sidelines. 34 yards from the touchdown. We'll have a little bit more on this game a little bit later.
Number 14, we're going to have a lot from this game, and we're going to have a lot from this guy, Kenneth Wilkins of Bedford, the 25-yard touchdown run. Bedford rolled in this game. Like I said, more from him and his team and this game as we go along.
At number 13, Rocky River's Michael Finnegan to William Sharp for the 18-yard touchdown pass. Take a look at this by the Pirates. Touchdown. Rocky River won 44-6 against Parma.
Number 12, Bay's Trey Pasoda. The handoff. Oh, bounces it outside. Then he shows a little bit of speed. 37 yards for the touchdown. Bay goes to 9-0, 28-17. They win it.
Number 11, a little defense. It's Lorain's Dakota Mincy. He's going to get the pick, and then he's going to go get the 6. Lorain jumped out to a big lead thanks to this, but they couldn't hang on.
Now take a look at this. Cuyahoga Heights Ryan Polk to Tyler Hughes for the 64-yard touchdown pass. Look at him haul that in there. But Cuyahoga Heights fell. Kirtland 42-34.
Number 9, Eaton's Chip Parker. Oh, bad snap, but fumble. Chip Parker grabs it, and then nobody's going to catch him. Parker takes it all the way back for the touchdown, but Carlisle won 28-20.
Number 8, Westerville Central's Alan Smith. 43 yards on this touchdown run. We'll have more from this game later. Westerville Central was a winner last night.
The official almost got ran over on that play here. All right, number 7, Cuyahoga Heights Lucas Durazio with the 47-yard touchdown run. Look at him, nobody's going to catch him for this one. Kirtland went on to win the game, though.
Number 6, Euclid's Aubrey Shabazz finds Drayvon Lindsay. Oh, nice pass, 46 yards. Menor won this one 61-59. Yikes.
Number 5, back to that Kirtland-Cuyahoga Heights game. It's going to be Kirtland's Joey Torek, the 58-yard touchdown run as Kirtland gets revenge from 2 losses a season ago. 42-34 winners over their rival.
Number 4, you saw him score early. Check out Kenneth Williams, this time with the stop. Bam! Take a look at that.
Goodness.
Oh! Bedford won 54-48 with the help of Kenneth Wilkins.
Our top 3 mentors. Tadas Tatarunas to Luke Floria. Oh, drops it in the breadbasket. 72 yards for the touchdown. Menor won by 2, and they scored a lot.
Number 2, guess who? Kenneth Wilkins again. 15 yards on this touchdown. What? There's 1. There's 2. There's 3. Cut back, gets a block, in the end zone, 15 yards. What a night for Kenneth Wilkins. I don't know if we're going to put all his votes together or what.
Well, but at number 1 here, his teammate, DeCarlene Townsend with a 60-yard TD run. Look at him with his hands, the stiff arm. I think that was 1. Oh, there's another one. He's not holding on. He said, gotta go. He's going to the end zone. Touchdown, Bedford. Bedford went on to win that game. 54-48.
So Bryant Kizer, who is always at these crazy games, was at that game, and he joins us via the phone. Bryant, first one to 50 didn't work, but close.
Hey, you needed to add the Wilkins stop on that 4th and 1, when he stopped Dowder on that 4th and 1, 4th and goal line play. I mean, that was the key right there. Even though he had 6 touchdowns, that on defense, that was a classic tackle on 4th and 1. He's the only one guy that's going to make that tackle right there.
He got a head of steam going and made sure that Dower did not get into the end zone, and that's actually one of our top plays that we just saw.
All right, I'm going to try to get head coach Cy Williams in here to get a chance to get a chat with him. So where's the head coach? Where's Sean Williams go? Over there. Okay.
All right. He's going to go track him down.
Well,
okay, here, I got him.
All right. Coach. Hey, Coach.
David Bacon.
How you doing,
Hello,
Coach?
how you doing?
How you doing, Coach?
Very good.
Hey.
Very good.
Tell me a little bit about what goes through your mind when Kenneth makes that play at the goal line. That's a heck of a play.
I mean, that's the things that we expect from Kenny Wilkins. That's what he does. That's what he's been doing for us all year. In practice, he does amazing things. I mean, and that's why we've got it. It's just amazing having a guy like that on the field. But when he comes through and makes the plays that he makes, but if you've been following us all year, this is what he does week in and week out. Week in and week out, he's a great player. He's a great player, but we played a great team today in Lorain. But when you see a guy like that make a play like that, all I can say is wow.
Yeah, we're going to take one more look at it. We've seen it a number of times. We're rolling it right now. And that's how you play linebacker. Filled the hole. He filled it with intentions of making sure that that man stayed out of the end zone, and that's exactly what he did. How proud are you of your guys, given the way that game started? Obviously didn't start the way you or any coach would want it to, and you stuck with it, and you did what you needed to do to get the win.
It's just believing in the guys, man. I'm super hard on these dudes week in and week out, day in and day out. I expect so much from them as players, and I push them so hard. The coaches do a great job. Coach Bodica, phenomenal coach. The whole staff, I mean, I can't say so much being from Bedford, playing here and not coming back and being a head coach. This is an amazing thing for these guys to be champs every day.
Coach, when you're in a game like this and, you know, offenses are just going back and forth, what is your message to your defense? Is it just figure out a way to go make that one play like Wilkins did?
Make the play. I drew the stuff on the board and told them simply, here's the game plan. Johns and Joes, you got to make the play. And that's all. We had too many people tapping on the chest early in the game at the beginning. And that's what we can't do. We got to make plays. And that's what they were able to do, is come out and pull together and make plays. Come on now. Come on now.
Hey, Sean, how big of a win is this for your guys? Just the adversity that you faced, the quality of the opponent. I mean, that's a nice win.
I'm sorry.
How big of a win is it?
Oh, I mean, this is huge. This is huge for us to be LEL champs. That was our number one goal. First, to start off to be conference champs. We can move from there, you know. But one thing, we got to set one goal at a time and take it step by step. And, you know, step by step, and this was goal number one. We can move from here.
What do you tell your guys? What are you going to tell them? What did you tell them? What are you going to tell them?
When you play together, this is what happens. You're playing together. You're playing for each other. This is what happens when you do that.
All right, Sean Williams, congratulations. Great win. We appreciate it. Go celebrate it with your guys.
Thank you.
Sean Williams, obviously a happy head coach. Let's check in with Jeff Sabo. He was at the Hudson-Twinsburg game. Jeff, what happened with the Tigers and the Explorers?
Well, it was a stalemate in the third quarter. However, fourth quarter, Kevin Callahan, he ended up going in for a touchdown from 6 yards out. And Grant Gagne, he had a 31-yard field goal, which would give Hudson a 27-17 lead. And that Hudson defense, they really stepped up at certain times in that fourth quarter. They were intercepting passes. They were stopping Cameron McLean. They were shutting down the entire passing game that Twinsburg had. And as a result, the Hudson Explorers ended up walking away with a 27-17 victory.
Jeff, the defense for Hudson, what they do, did you notice anything different in the second half that they did?
Something that they really did a better job of was really stopping Cameron McLean, the running back for the Twinsburg Tigers, in that second half. In the first half, Cameron was able to get at least 5 or 6 yards just about every time he touched the ball. In the second half, just about every time they ran the ball to him, he was usually stopped very early on, either right at the line of scrimmage or behind the line of scrimmage. So the Hudson defense really changed it up from that aspect. And they were really doing a much better job covering those wide receivers for Twinsburg as well. In the first half, the Twinsburg wide receivers were really doing a great job of getting open and really creating opportunities. However, in that second half, that secondary for the Explorers really shut down the entire Twinsburg passing game. And as a result, it really helped the Explorers maintain that lead once they regained it.
All right, Jeff Sabo, we appreciate the coverage of Hudson defeating Twinsburg, and that likely puts Hudson in the Division II Region 5 playoffs. They got a tough one, though. They get to face unbeaten Wadsworth in their senior night game next week. So
yeah, this was the definition of a must-win for Hudson, because we've talked about Wadsworth on this show over and over again, how good of a football team that is. And you didn't want to go into that game feeling like if you win, you're in. If you lose, you're out, because there's a very good chance when you play Wadsworth, you're not going to come out on top.
So they do a nice job. Tie game at half. They scored 10 in the second half. They win 27-20. You have to be really, shift gears a little bit, you have to be really impressed with Menor, just the way they kind of hung. Every time it looked like Euclid was going to swing and extend it, Menor came right back. And also with Bedford, don't underestimate. That's a really good football team in Lorain that Bedford really just beat.
Yeah, and just in hearing some of these recaps from tonight, I'm just looking at just how these playoff situations are going to happen. I mean, we were talking about Menor. Menor looks like they're in good position right now. Euclid's going to kind of maybe have a couple questions coming in. And then Bedford, we're just talking about, they're right behind Hudson. So they could have obviously used the Hudson loss in this situation if they wanted to try to get a home playoff spot. But Bedford, I mean, you got to feel pretty good at just about, if you're thinking about being hot at a particular time in the season going into the postseason, this is a great time. And then obviously, apparently, I haven't seen too much of Kenny Wilkins to say, oh, he's been doing this every game like Coach said. But I mean, just a heck of a performance down the stretch there to help pull that win off and also wrap up the Lake Erie title.
The thing about Bedford, too, is you want to avoid that 8 seed. You don't want to have Hoban. In fact,
you really want to avoid the 4 seed.
Yeah, you don't want to be 4 or 5 either. You'd love to be 2, 3, 6, 7.
Yeah, you want Hoban. You want Hoban in the regional final if you can get him there.
Yeah, but if you can avoid that 8 seed and avoid Hoban in the first round, that would be ideal. And this win goes a long way towards propelling them towards that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and Hoban with that shutout from NDCL, and it sounded like they had about 50 yards of total offense. So that's not a bad football team that they pretty much dismantled tonight.
Yeah, I mean they're beating really good teams. I mean their only loss is to St. Ignatius, and they've probably played St. Ignatius as tough as anyone has all season. That defense, that offensive line, it's all equipped to make their freshman quarterback feel comfortable. They have a great running game. As usual, Hoban is just the complete package, and good luck to anyone that has to play them in the Division II regionals.
Well, we are going to take one more timeout here on Friday Night Huddle, Week 9 of the regular season. When we come back, we will wrap things up and look ahead to Week 10, along with Dan Lobby and Nate Cline from cleveland.com. I'm Dave Bacon. Friday Night Huddle. We'll be right back.
This city, this club stands with you.
Danger from Mira!
What you live for lives here.
The volley, Kamara, yes!
Ohio's television home of Columbus Crew SC. Spectrum Sports, exclusively on Spectrum.
Have you ever lived for something? Have you ever dreamt of something? Something more? Something special? Something bigger than yourself? Well, have you? This is what you live for!
The home of high high school sports. Spectrum Sports, exclusively on Spectrum.
The Ohio Lottery's Partners in Education program has been recognizing students and teachers who shine both in and out of the classroom since 2007. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com and click on Supporting Education. Students in kindergarten through 12th grade are eligible to be academic all-stars. K through 12 teachers can be honored as the Teacher of the Month. Every school that participates is eligible to be honored as the School of the Year. The Ohio Lottery's Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Wednesday nights, get ready for kickoff with Spectrum Sports. High School Blitz Preview. The can't miss show for all things high school football. We'll break down team news, the latest standings, and what to expect on the road to Canton. High School Blitz Preview. Wednesday nights at 7 on Spectrum Sports. Exclusively on Spectrum.
Welcome back to Friday Night Huddle. We wrap up Week 9. We saw the Perry Panthers upset the Canton McKinley Bulldogs. Ryan Isley was covering the game. Ryan, I was impressed by the Panthers, particularly the defense. What really stood out to you about this one?
Yeah, I agree. I think the defense, especially in the second half, when they came out trailing 17-7 after 24 minutes to play, came out, gave up just 3 points in the second half. And while their defense was only giving up 3, the offense was going out and scoring 21. We all know how Perry runs the football, and tonight was a display of that. They handed the ball to Jaron Curtis and just let him do his thing. Besides the 4 touchdown runs, he also had probably 3 or 4 big runs of 20 yards plus that set those touchdown runs up. So it was a very, very good game for Jaron Curtis tonight for Perry.
Ryan, on the other side, it looked like McKinley made some costly mistakes, had some penalties, some drops. Just kind of overall, what did you think of their performance?
I thought a lot of it was self-inflicted. You hit it on the head. They had a couple of penalties, not a lot of penalties, but a couple of them that were key, and then the drops. They had multiple drops tonight on passes that were wide open. And not only was the pass wide open, but if the receiver catches it, he has plenty of green in front of him to run. A couple of times it looked like they just turned to run before they had secured the ball. And you could start to tell that Elijah Curtis was getting frustrated with his receivers and the drops tonight from his body language, probably mid to late third quarter, and especially in that fourth quarter, because there were a couple of really costly drops that really stalled Canton McKinley drives tonight, where they could have gone down and scored and either taken the lead or at least come close to tying the football game up. And every time they had a chance, they just kind of self-inflicted and dropped a pass or missed a block here, missed a block there. And between that and the high snaps tonight was an issue for the offense. I counted at least probably 7 high snaps tonight to Curtis where he had to jump to get the snap, and that throws the entire play off. So, yeah, there was a lot of self-inflicted wounds for Canton McKinley tonight, and I don't think that they're going to be happy when they go back and watch the film.
Hey, Ryan, from one Curtis to another, Elijah Curtis we were just talking about, but Jaron Curtis from Perry, what was your analysis of the running back there? Because for a moment I was hoping he wasn't injured, but maybe you look like he had some cramps. But what did you think about him tonight?
I know exactly what play you're talking about. I believe that it was just either a cramp or he was just getting tired. They just ran him they ran him crazy tonight. He ran for 237 yards, 177 of that in the second half, 3 touchdowns in the second half, 4 for the game. He was a one-man wrecking crew, and they just couldn't stop him. He was a bowling ball tonight. There was nothing the Canton McKinley defense could do when they gave the ball to 22.
Ryan, it's kind of interesting. You know what Perry's going to do, and it's really difficult to stop. I mean, it's not like they were running a bunch of different plays. They were just executing them. That's got to get frustrating for a defense as well.
You would think it gets frustrating, and I'll tell you the thing that really surprised me was after seeing Perry play Jackson earlier in the season and then seeing Canton McKinley play Jackson last week or 2 weeks ago, I thought, well, Canton McKinley's got a chance to come out here and really shut Perry down because they do a lot of things well that Jackson did well against Perry. And Tonight it just didn't happen. Perry was able to find holes and make their blocks, and Canton McKinley just wasn't able to make stops when they needed it. And I'll tell you guys, I think it was a big key for them. Josh Chandler did play a little bit tonight, but he wasn't 100%, and he wasn't out there for a lot of plays. So I have to wonder how much not having the leader of their defense, especially a linebacker against this wing T offense, hurt Canton McKinley's defense tonight.
How impressed were you overall with Perry? I was pretty darn impressed, and I thought they might hang close. I'm kind of surprised they beat McKinley, to be honest with you.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I said all week that I thought Canton McKinley would win the game. I thought Perry might have a chance to keep it close if they didn't turn the ball over. This is a completely different Perry team than I saw a few weeks ago just down the road at Jackson. I'm thoroughly impressed with how well they played tonight, how well they played within themselves. Because like you said, everybody knows what they're going to do. They're going to run the football. Max Baker's not going to drop back and throw 25 passes in a game, even if they're trailing. And that's what happened tonight. They trailed. They said, that's okay, we're Perry. We're playing Perry football. And that's exactly what Coach Wakefield said to them after the game in the huddle. His first words to them were, that's Perry football. We run the football, and we just do what we do. And if they stop us, they stop us. If they don't, then we win the football game. And that's what happened tonight. They just kept running and kept running. And you could tell McKinley's defense was getting tired, especially towards the end, and they didn't have anything left in the tank in that fourth quarter.
Ryan Isley, great stuff. We appreciate it as Perry pulls off what would have to be considered the upset of the week here on Friday Night Huddle on Week 9.
Yeah, and helps themselves in the playoff picture. They're probably going to make the playoffs now in Region 1. So, I mean, it's a huge win for them. Now, McKinley has to go play Massillon. I believe that's a home game for McKinley, but they're fighting for one of those home games in Region 1. So, hey, a lot of ramifications from that, but good for Perry. Like Ryan said, they just came out and did what Perry does. They didn't care what the score was. They didn't care what the situation was, the time. They just did what Perry does, and it got them a win tonight.
Yeah, and congratulations to the Perry Panthers for the win tonight. Now they all are going to share a piece of that Federal League title with Jackson right now, McKinley and Perry with that spot. Now with McKinley, the one thing I took away from Ryan's interview with us was that Josh Chandler right now, and he was limited tonight. So I'm just kind of curious, how much are we going to see him against Massillon? Is he going to be 100% by next week after a leg injury early in the season?
Well, we've talked about this game. Mentor defeated Euclid 61-59, and this is what it came down to. Connor McIntosh trying to bring it home with the field goal, and he knocks it through the uprights to win it as time expires. And you see the Cardinals celebrating, and that is a heartbreaking loss for the Euclid Panthers. Euclid's still fine. They'll still be in Division 1, Region 1 playoffs, but you see 61-59, a field goal as time expires to win it for the Mentor Cardinals. A lot of exciting games. Let's take a look at the scoreboard. We've already told you Massillon Perry, that 8-point win over McKinley. Avon rolls over Amherst. You saw that game. Hoban, defense dominant. Bedford fell behind. They were trailing 28-8 at one point. They come back and win it. Olmsted Falls, overtime, wins it by a point over Avon Lake. Bay, 3 touchdown runs, win it 28-17. Kirtland beats Cuyahoga Heights by 8. Rocky River, no problem at all. Hudson, a game they really need, wins by 10. Which likely locks up a Division II Region 5 playoff berth for the Explorers. Guys, takeaway from tonight. Yeah, always.
I'm still taking notes now.
Dan, we'll start with you.
Region 1, it's going to be 3 rounds of just who knows what's going to happen. Now, obviously, Eds and Ignatius are going to be the favorites in that region. Yep. Everybody's going to have that circled whenever those two meet. But there are going to be some matchups, and we saw it tonight with Mentor Euclid. We saw it tonight with McKinley Perry. There are going to be matchups in that region that are just must-watch games. And who knows, it could all come to a head with St. Ignatius, St. Ed's in the regional final, but it's going to be a fun path to get there.
All right, here we go. Kirtland and Cuyahoga Heights revenge tour. Got that win there. Hudson and Twinsburg, the defense showed up and Explorers.
Yeah, revenge on that one, too.
There we go, too. Lorain and Bedford, wow, the way that finished up
revenge
there.
On that one, because Lorain got them last.
Another
I've
defensive stop.
for you.
And obviously, I'll probably read a little bit more about that whole Mentor and Euclid, how that finished out there. Congratulations, Mentor. They're going to pull out the Greater Cleveland Conference title. And McKinley and Massillon Perry, that did not go as I expected tonight.
Yeah.
So.
You know,
I had to.
Heck of a job by Keith Wakefield and those Perry Panthers. You know, they do what they do. You know, they fell behind, and you know, we're kind of going, this could get bad. But they were, anytime they were behind, they were able to find the big run that then set them up to score, running the football, doing what they do, Perry football as they term, and that defense. You hold Canton McKinley to 20 points, your defense has played pretty well.
Here's what you need to know about Region 1. I'm looking at Joe Attell, and it hasn't completely updated yet. You've got Stowe at 7-1 at the 8th seed. Now, they won tonight, it'll be 8-1, but again, you know, Jackson is so good, and they're going to be one of the lower seeds in that region. Perry, we saw what they can do. They're going to be a lower seed in that region. It's going to be wild.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, obviously the rest of the night's going to kind of play out, see what happens, and then we have the Saturday slate of games coming up, and we're going to just see how that plays out because we're going to have a couple of private schools coming up to the Northeast Ohio area, and they're going to face some of our locals here. See how well it goes.
You can see both of those games on Spectrum Sports. St. Ignatius hosting St. Xavier, so that's St. Xavier is one in the state.
Rematch.
They're the defending state champs. They beat St. Ignatius. Ignatius, who lost last week, is 6th now. Eds, who's number 2, hosts Moeller, who beat St. Ignatius last week. And both those games are on Spectrum Sports. The St. Ignatius-Xavier game kicks off at 3 o'clock. Ryan Kavanaugh and I are calling that one. And the Moeller-Eds game kicks off at 4. And that is also going to be available. It should be really interesting. Some Week 10 games that we're looking at, and we got about a minute. We'll blow through them. Is Barberton and Highland, Wadsworth and Hudson. That'll be very interesting. Wadsworth trying to complete the undefeated season. Padua NDCL, Hoban Benedictine in the NCL, and then the big one, St. Ignatius and St. Ed's Saturday. And that'll be very interesting. Could be the prelude to the Division I, Region 1 regional final. It'll be very interesting as the regular season wraps up. The playoff picture will take an even clearer shape. For Nate Cline and Dan Lobby, I'm Dave Bacon. We'll see you again next Friday night here on Friday Night Huddle. Playoffs are only 2 weeks away, you know. Next week and then the week after playoffs start. Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you next Friday night.
The High School Sports Insider is brought to you by Cuyahoga Community College, where futures begin. By the Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine. By Spectrum Sports. By Dominion East Ohio. Dominion, it all starts here. And by Classic Teleproductions.
Late October means we've crowned our first state champs of 2017, and the fall sports are in full tournament mode. A great time to talk high school sports. Thanks for joining this edition of the High School Sports Insider. Along with Bill Castrovince, I'm Dave Bacon.
Over the next half hour, you're going to get your fill of mascot fun. Plus, we have a Panther on the prowl, a bunch of Bulldogs running loose, and the Gilmore girls going for a repeat.
We begin tonight on the gridiron with one of the most underappreciated positions in football, the kicker, the guy who gets a lot of pressure and not nearly enough respect. A good kicker can be the difference between winning and losing, especially close games at the high school level. St. Ignatius has one of the best kickers not only in Ohio but the entire country. Matthew Trickett. As good as Trickett is on the football field, he's even better off it. Matthew's a 4-point student who's very involved in the community. We're proud to salute Matthew Trickett, our Cuyahoga Community College student athlete with a future. Cuyahoga Community College, where futures begin.
He's shown the leg to knock this through. Snap and set are good. The kick
oh my
on
gosh.
target. And he knocks it through. That's a school record 59-yard field goal.
It's so special to me because big football school here, so obviously a lot of great players have gone through it here. And just to be able to say that I hold school records, definitely, it's special. It's really special.
Matthew Trickett is one of the best kickers in the country. He's already made a 55-yarder in addition to that 59-yard record-setting field goal this season. Trickett is a former soccer player who seems to thrive on the pressure of place kicking in football.
I love it. Like I said, the spotlight, that's something that I live for. These Saturday or Friday night games, it's everything to me. I love to see the ball fly through the air, and it's really working towards perfection. Every kick, I'm trying to make it straight down the center and as high as I can get it. So I really love how you can try and be perfect with it. Soccer is a big team sport, but kicking, I get my own spotlight every 20-some plays. So it's something I really love to do.
Matthew is also putting his talents to use to help out in the community. He's continuing the Kick It for Cancer fundraiser at St. Ignatius, where he raises money for pediatric cancer research with every kick he makes.
It started with Matt Goul here in 2014, and he really kicked things off, did a great job. It caught on locally, spread throughout the nation, and we just kept it going as a tradition. And it's really something great that we can do to give back to the community. You pledge a certain amount of money for each point that the specialists score. So say I make a field goal, that's 3 points. Say you pledge $1 per point, $3 go to pediatric cancer.
When asked about his success, Trickett was quick to praise those he works with to make his kicking seem routine.
I have a strong relationship with my holder, and we've been working on it since the summer, just getting those holds down, getting the snaps back. So we've really worked as a unit to perfect everything that we can, so it makes my job a lot easier. The mental aspect is you just got to clear your head. I started looking at the field goal just to see where we're at, what kind of angle I have to take, and then from there, I'm just looking at the holder. As soon as he brings his hand up to try and catch the ball, that's my starting point to go. And then from there, I just try and close everything out, just focus on the kick.
Another aspect to his game that is huge is kickoffs. Trickett usually puts the ball where it can't be returned.
They're really important. We always expect that they're going in the end zone, but if not, the special teams units down there were making tackles. So I try and do the best that I can to just hit it in the end zone every time so nobody has to worry about it.
Matthew is a special kid, and so is our next featured athlete, who also shines on special teams. When it comes to punt returners, Arquan Bush is one of the best around. But the Euclid senior is also a star on offense and defense, and it's all because of his mom. Let's go to my alma mater and honor Arquan Bush as this week's Spectrum Sports Game Breaker. As a two-sport athlete, Arquan Bush is always running. But the Euclid senior prefers the slower pace of football to track.
It's just a lot, and then you get tired in track. Like football is like, I can take a break every once in a while, but track, I mean, you take a break too, but it's just running the whole time. Football is like, it's slowed down a little bit. Track is just straight running.
Even though Bush is a state qualifier in track, football is his first love. And it's all because of his mother, Diana Barker.
Like, I've been playing since I was 5. And my mom got me into it for real, because like, I really didn't want to play. But then my mom made me play, and then I just loved it ever since.
His track speed has made him a dangerous player in all 3 phases of the game. Arquan is a big play wide receiver, but he's being recruited at cornerback and as a punt returner. And Bush is becoming more coachable too.
He's listening now, and he wants to be, he always wanted to be great, but he kind of wanted to do it almost on, he would get angry if things didn't go right way, and then he wasn't listening as much. Now he's listening, he's accepting the coaching.
College offers from schools like Michigan State, Kentucky, Purdue, and Rutgers rolled in last year, but over the summer, Arquan gave a verbal commitment to Cincinnati. And with a big weight off his shoulders, Bush became a leader on and off the field.
As we got the last 3 weeks of our summer workouts, we do what's called our core work and all that stuff. He ran the whole thing. This day and age, too many kids want to be liked more than respected. He's starting to get the message, hey, it's up to me to make, to be an extension of the coach.
Just take it like any other challenge. I try to help them out, and I try to still like do me at the same time. But like if they need my help, I help them out if they need it.
Arquan Bush is proud to be a Euclid Panther, but more importantly, he wants to make his mom proud.
I mean, it's my mother. I love her. She's the only one in my life, but I have a stepdad too. I got my grandparents and all that. But my mom, she's always been behind me in everything I do.
Arquan Bush runs the 100, the 200, the 4x1, and the 4x2. You know those Euclid Panthers are always fast, except for this Euclid Panther.
We're just getting things rolling on this week's show. Still ahead, some Lancers on the pitch, and a group of Bulldogs who still have their bite. The High School Sports Insider will be right back.
I've got a 4-year degree. I wasn't really able to find a job despite putting out over 100 applications, so I decided to go back to school. You know, Tri-C really did change my life. After getting my degree from Tri-C, I'm working in the IT field. I work at a job I love. Life is good, thanks to Tri-C. My name is Josh Gatka, and I received my IT degree from Tri-C.
There is a place where dreams arise. Stars are born. And greatness is made. What you live for lives here. Spectrum Sports.
The High School Sports Insider rolls along. Thanks for riding shotgun with us. Stowe graduated one of the most successful football classes in their history a year ago. The core group that won 4 playoff games in Division I the last 2 years graduated. But it appears Stowe has reached the elite program status in football. They don't rebuild, they reload. The Bulldogs, with a number of new players and a little different style, have kept one thing consistent. They just keep winning. Here's an all-access look at Stowe Bulldogs football.
Graduation hit the Stowe Bulldogs hard, but these dogs are used to winning. New players have stepped up. The results? Stowe is back on track and right in the middle of the Division I Region I playoff mix with a team that reflects their head coach.
Hard hat and lunch bucket. That's what I tell them. I mean, you know, like I said, we go through our ups and downs. I think that we rally together well as a team, which is important. But when it comes time to being physical and doing the things that we need to do, our kids just absolutely thrive on that and love it.
We communicate, like I said before. We think alike, that's another thing, and we just get out there and play.
Stowe is winning with a different style this year. Gone is the high-flying passing attack. In is a very physical ground and pound game that's averaging almost 275 yards rushing per contest, and a very physical offensive line.
A lot of people that see them from the outside in see them as a first-year starting offensive line, but in reality, these guys have been playing together for a long time, and I think they've just been waiting for their chance, their opportunity. They've been doing a great job the whole time through our system in Stowe and up through the high school ranks, and they really like each other. They really do. I coach them, and so I get to spend a lot of time with them, and they've really become a tight group. They're a fun group to be around.
I'm just going after what my coach says. You know, he puts me in position to make plays, and I just do what I'm told. So if I have to run, I'll run. If I have to throw, I'll make a play.
He brings a complete different dynamic to what we do offensively, and you know, as an extra guy in the backfield now, people have to worry about him. They have to account for him. So, you know, in the years past when we had drop-back quarterbacks like Kyle Van Treese, you know, he was a great quarterback for us, but he didn't add that extra element that Corian does. So, you know, I think it puts a lot of pressure on defenses to prepare for us.
So if someone's in my face, I gotta take off. You know, it's a scary thing when a 300-pound lineman coming at you. So I actually try to roll out and get my receivers open.
Rice combines with fellow senior Terry and Ray to give the Bulldogs a 1-2 running punch that's tough to stop. Both realize it's a team thing that enables them to be successful.
It's very fun, you know. It's like a big family, and it's fun being a part of a big family with my age group, and I just love all of them.
The state soccer tournament is now underway. Here's an odd fact. On the girls' side, there's no defending champ in Division III. Gilmore won the title last year, But the Lancers were moved up to Division II in the offseason. But it doesn't matter where they're playing, the goal is the same. Here's the Gilmore girls soccer team, this week's Team of the Week. Gilmore has had a girls soccer team since 1991, and the Lancers had never won a state championship until last year. With 1 minute left in double overtime, sophomore Annie Green fired off a shot at the keeper that junior Alyssa Barron tapped in to win the Division III state title. It was a dramatic finish, but 11 months later, the highlight is losing its luster.
It's just like another goal to me. Like, obviously it meant a lot to the team, and it does mean a lot to me, but it's something that I always shy away from talking about. My mom talks about it a lot more than I do, actually. She likes to brag for me.
Still, you don't always get a chance to make school history.
You know, a lot of our classmates and stuff like that were there to support us, and all of our families were there, and being able to come back to school and, you know, unveil the banner and everything like that, it was huge, and you could tell everyone was so proud of us.
5 seniors graduated off that team, but a lot of underclassmen played big roles. Now, those girls are working on a second state title.
It was just a great year, but we also have to make sure that we stay, you know, grounded and keep working this year so that we can do it again, but know that this is a new year. You know, we have to keep working hard. It's not just going to happen again.
The road is a little rougher. The Lancers were moved up to Division II, and the schedule was beefed up.
I think the teams that we've added are all high quality teams, teams that have won state titles before, that have won districts, have been part of regionals levels, who have big time players on their roster.
I think we'll be just as competitive in Division II as we were in Division III. Again, it's going to come down to just working hard and working with one another.
The Gilmore girls even have fun after practice once in a while, but they're always working hard in the classroom. The 36 girls have a combined 3.7 GPA.
You know, this game, you got to be mentally smart. You know, you got to be physically fit, but mentally you've got to be on top of your game as well. And these girls, I think it's easy for them to translate from the classroom onto the field.
If you missed some of today's show or want to see past episodes, they're online and free. What a deal, I know. Head to citybeat-tv.com. That's citybeat-tv.com.
Coming up next, it's Mascot Mania as we celebrate the School of the Year. Plus, we'll go from Lake Catholic to Happy Valley for the Insider Classic. Stay tuned.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
The Ohio Lottery's Partners in Education program has been recognizing students and teachers who shine both in and out of the classroom since 2007. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com and click on Supporting Education. Students in kindergarten through 12th grade are eligible to be academic all-stars. K through 12 teachers can be honored as the Teacher of the Month. Every school that participates is eligible to be honored as the School of the Year. The Ohio Lottery's Partners in Education, where stars shine.
The High School Sports Insider continues with a stop on the shores of Lake Erie for the School of the Year. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program normally celebrates a high school for this honor, but this time it's a middle school getting some recognition. And it's all because of a little girl who had a dream. Let's go to Our Lady of the Lake in Euclid, the School of the Year. 7-year-old Alea McMillan had a dream one night. She was helping other kids who are less fortunate.
I had gave them one of my toys in my dream. So when I gave them my toys, I had brought more from home and kept on giving them to them. So when I woke up that day, I had thought maybe I should do it in real life at school and maybe people will want to do it.
Alea wanted to organize a toy drive, and her school, Our Lady of the Lake in Euclid, pitched in, collecting over 1,000 toys for a local shelter this past spring.
She is always trying to think of others, trying to do big things like this,
And that's why I felt I couldn't tell her no, like we had to do this because this is going to be what she does.
Doesn't matter how young you are, how little you are, do your best, believe in yourself, and great things can happen.
Because of Alea, everyone got the chance to party when Our Lady of the Lake was named the Ohio Lottery Partners in Education School of the Year.
I think it sets a great example. You know, kids see what other people are doing, they see the fruits of their labor, and they realize that, hey, you work a little hard and you know, really put an effort into something and you can do just about anything.
You might even have a bunch of mascots invade your school. 13 furry friends from across the state join the party, making this year's celebration the loudest on record. Our Lady of the Lake also received a $500 gift card from Staples, sports merchandise from several different Ohio teams for future raffles, and one memorable day thanks to the Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program and one little dreamer.
I actually felt really excited and I was really happy that people wanted to do the idea, and it made me excited because we had got School of the Year and everybody that was used to be mean to me are now nice to me.
There is a School of the Year every year, but the Ohio Lottery is also looking for students who shine in the classroom every day. If you know one, send in a nomination. Just go to ohiolottery.com. At the top of the page, look for the Supporting Education tab, and that's where you'll find all the info.
Each week on the show, we look back at a student athlete we featured who's gone on to success at the college, professional, sometimes even international levels. Abby Dietering has been the main cog in Penn State's volleyball machine this season. Dietering has helped the Nittany Lions earn the #1 ranking in all of college volleyball. Abby started out at the University of Florida, but we remember her at Lake Catholic, where she was Ohio Volleyball's Gatorade Player of the Year as a senior. Today, Abby Dietering from Lake Catholic becomes a classic.
A volleyball team is only as good as its setter. She is a quarterback on the court, and Lake Catholic has one of the best in the country with Abby Dietering.
You have to run the whole show, you know what I mean? And she just kind of, but she has that personality to do that. You know, a lot of kids don't have that personality. She's not quiet. She's very into the game. She hates to lose. We call her Michael Jordan.
The biggest thing I've always listened to is dream big, take risks. That's the thing that I always go by, because if you don't take risks, you'll never accomplish your dreams. So being a setter, you have to take risks at the net.
Dietering has the physical tools too. She is 6'1" and left-handed, a great combination to have at the net.
Not only do you have to worry about your hitters, but you also have to worry about me coming and attacking at the ball, because I'm left-handed, so I can swing at the ball compared to right-handed setters. So it does make it a harder game.
The Cougars already had a setter when Dietering joined the team as a freshman, but Severino had to get her on the court, and she ended up leading the team with 11 kills in the 2010 state championship game, leading Lake Catholic to its first state title.
We just put her on the right side. She's left-handed, and she just ended up being one of our best hitters. Actually, she actually was the MVP of the state tournament, state championship game. So yeah, she just fit right in. It was just a great fit.
Her days as a high school player are numbered. Abby has already given a verbal commitment to the University of Florida, and she has a great chance to start right away. And I'm talking January. Dietering is set to graduate from Lake Catholic in December and then join the Gators. How so? She's a 3.6 student.
This might sound weird, but I'm a really competitive person, and that also comes with grades. Like, I never want to get a bad grade. Like, that is my biggest thing, and I will get so mad if I ever do.
When you talk about words like intrinsic motivation and inner drive, you normally reserve those for sports, but I would say that Abby displayed those characteristics in the classroom as well.
On the court, she is leaving Lake Catholic in good hands after coaching and teaching younger players like Kaylee. And if you're going to follow in somebody's footsteps, Abby Dietering is about as good as it gets.
I've learned a lot, and to keep my thumbs back, get my hands on the ball, and the footwork. and I've learned a lot of things. She gives a lot of details when she's coaching, and she really helps me get through.
It's really exciting working with her, and she's a great setter, so I'm excited for the future. She's my little mini-me.
We want you to get more involved in the show, and you can through social media. Follow us on Twitter. We're at HS Sports Insider and at Dave Bacon Sports. Tweet us your story ideas or your pictures showing your school spirit. We'll use them in a future show. Still plugging away on Facebook as well. Head to our page and like us. We're at High School Sports Insider.
But stick around. The tweets of the week are coming up next.
The Ohio Lottery's Partners in Education program has been recognizing students and teachers who shine both in and out of the classroom since 2007. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com and click on Supporting Education. Students in kindergarten through 12th grade are eligible to be academic all-stars. K through 12 teachers can be honored as the Teacher of the Month. Every school that participates is eligible to be honored as the School of the Year. The Ohio Lottery's Partners in Education, where stars shine.
There is a place where dreams arise, stars are born, and greatness is made. What you live for lives here. Spectrum Sports.
The High School Sports Insider rolls along. Thanks for staying with us. We're running out of time on this week's show, but we always have time to find out what's on your mind. A few rules: you have to use 140 characters or less. Better yet, just send a picture. Time for the tweets of the week.
Wadsworth head wrestling coach John Gramuglia with a well-earned honor. He was inducted into the National Wrestling Hall of Fame. A huge shout out to the Independence girls golf team. They won the Division II state title by 11 strokes. And Cleveland Heights' Tariq Smith modeling his Under Armour All-American Bowl jersey. Smith is one of the country's top recruits, and he plans to announce his college choice at the All-American Bowl.
Keep those tweets coming. We want your story ideas or your pictures showing your school spirit. Tweet those to us. We're at HS Sports Insider and at Dave Bacon Sports. Use hashtag HSSI Ohio. Again, that's at HS Sports Insider or at Dave Bacon Sports. Use hashtag HSSI Ohio. We'll use a few of them on upcoming shows as the tweets of the week. Now we are all out of time on this week's show. Half hour goes by so fast. Thanks for making the time in your busy schedule to join us. We expect to see you back here next week, same time, same place, when again, we'll have some of the best high school sports stories from all across Ohio.
And as always, thanks for supporting high school athletics. Have a great night.
I decided to go to Tri-C because it was easy to commute to. I was able to start Kent State as a junior. All my credits from Tri-C transferred to Kent State. I will be able to earn my bachelor's degree in 4 years. I saved a lot of money starting at Tri-C. My name is Stephanie Bain, and I earned my first degree at Cuyahoga Community College.
I dare you. I dare you to change the world. Yeah, you. Getting that college education.
I dare you to be somebody important.
Like be a teacher. Or a reality TV star. I dare you to stand up here. To call the shots.
To be a role model.
An inspiration. An innovator.
To be a teacher. Be my teacher. Think you can change my life?
Make me excited about science like you.
Have a career that really means something?
Then do it.
I dare you. I dare you.